Let's get right into this review for The Devil Wears Prada 2. Alright, so this film is directed by David Frankel. He was the one who worked on the original film back in 2006. The sequel here comes almost 20 years later, with many of the pivotal characters coming back to the big screen. A part of me was curious to see where they could take these characters and story beyond the first narrative, which I did find to be a solid cinematic experience at the time. Now that I've seen the film, what did I think about the cinematic package here? I thought this was just okay. To start with the positives, I enjoyed the cast. Meryl Streep and Hathaway, Stanley Tucci, and Emily Blunt portray reminiscent characters almost 20 years later with relative ease. I also found the nostalgia to hit at the right time during several pivotal moments throughout the acts. The quirky remarks and banter between certain characters still put a smile on my face during certain sequences as well. This genuinely felt like a film from the 2000s, and I was able to respect some of the decisions made to keep the formulaic equation relatively similar with this sequel. I also appreciated some of the modern perspectives in showcasing how times have changed in our modern digital world, and we get to see the impacts of it through Runway and Miranda's old school leadership. Now, as for the negatives, I thought the overall story was pretty darn loosey-goosey. Certain story elements definitely felt forced here or solely for nostalgia's sake, which can swing both in a positive and negative way. Also, I can't say Andy's romantic relationships ever worked for me within both the original and this sequel. Honestly, I feel like you can scrap these male characters away and the story wouldn't really change much. They were all C-tier boyfriends to begin with. I was also disappointed in the way Emily Blunt's character, Emily, was utilized in this story. I feel like they lowballed her with this narrative direction, and I felt she deserved a much better route. Ultimately, I feel like this film forever lives in the shadow of the original and never for the better. The way certain sequences unfold, the similarity between several old and new characters, and the familiar equation in how the core drama plays out never makes any of the ideas in this film feel fresh enough to make me feel this sequel was worth the 20-year wait. My final score for The Devil Wears Prada 2 is 7 out of 10. This was a solid one-time watch experience for me. This film dunks on a lot of nostalgia, has some sprinkles of golden moments, but undoubtedly remains too familiar to surpass the first film. There's a lot of C-tier aspects with the overall narrative direction, and not enough character development to make me fully satisfied with this cinematic experience. Anyways, thanks for checking this review out. I'll have more coming soon, so stay tuned for that. Like and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I shall see you on my next upload. Until then, stay safe out there, and peace!